Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 12 in Be With Me. We're in the book of Titus. We're in chapter 3, and I'm going to title today, Believing and Doing. It seems to me that the book of Titus is a lot about three things. The first thing that's talked about is good leadership. And he goes on and on about qualifications for elders, which is a great thing because then they're supposed to be good teachers and have sound doctrine. And this right doctrine, this right gospel, this right instruction gives the people the message. The third thing, and then it talks about, is that after you get the message, after you get the sound teaching, then you're supposed to be sound in your behavior. That is, the best term I like is from 2:10, which says adorn the gospel. So we're in chapter 3 today, where these principles about good leadership, good doctrine, and good actions, good works, are going to be portrayed in the reality of this church. So he's going to caution the people, hey, be careful, be ready for these things that I've already taught you. And we'll see this applied to a bad teacher. So here we go. This is from Titus chapter 3, and I'm going to start in verse 8. The saying is trustworthy, and I want you to insist on these things, so that those who have believed in God may be careful to devote themselves to good works. These things are excellent and profitable for people, but avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, dissensions, and quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. Then he's going to talk about a specific person. Verse 10, Titus 3:10. As for a person who stirs up division, after warning him once and then twice, have nothing more to do with him, knowing that such a person is warped and sinful. He is self-condemned. All right, so again, what Titus is about, three things, I think: the right leaders, the right doctrine, and the right words. So the right doctrine is this gospel, which we talked about yesterday, this wonderful and beautiful gospel. And that's supposed to be taught by good teachers, so that you want to hold on to the message. So the right doctrine is important because you want to be believing the right thing. And he cautions them here today, saying, be careful about this. The charge to teachers is to teach the right thing, declare it, and do it confidently with some authority, declaring, rebuking, exhorting, urging. You're going to have to knock a few things down with the right teaching. Insist on it and don't disregard it. 1:9 says, give instruction in sound doctrine. So sound meaning healthy doctrine. Teach this healthy doctrine. So the right leaders are supposed to be doing the right thing with the right doctrine. And then the third thing that Titus is about is the right works, so actions. So our works profess our knowledge about God, both good and bad. Our works can deny our knowledge of God. It says so in 1:16. They profess to know God, but they deny him by their works. So that's a bad thing. On the positive sides, that we are to be zealous for good works. 2:14 talks about that. And here, be careful to devote ourselves to good works. So one of my big points here today is that those who believe the right stuff should be doing the right stuff. So this believing and doing relationship. All right. So he says here today is be careful to devote yourselves to good works. So attention must be paid to the right works, and similarly, attention should be paid to the right doctrine, and attention should be paid to the right leadership. He goes on and about that for a whole chapter. All right, so we can have false leaders, we can have false doctrines, and we can have false works. Verse 9 talks about false teaching, but avoid foolish controversies. Avoid it. Avoid foolish controversies. Avoid genealogies, dissension, law quarrels, things that are unprofitable. It sounds like they're having, we don't know specifically, this is about as specific as it gets, but it sounds like there's some, historical Jewishness, which is pretty common in some of the other books. So don't be surprised. We had thousands of years of Jewish teaching, and we're probably moving from that to a more Christian orientation. The bad news, however, is that you can have false teachers and false leaders, which result in stirring up divisions and warped and sinful. That means perverted or even dislocated. I like that. Knowing that such a person is warped and sinful. So this dislocated person is going to self-dislocate themselves from the body of Christ. So with these false teachers, they're there to be warned once and then warned twice, and then they can even have church discipline. Now, is that to be mean? Well, two things. It's to protect the body. 1 Timothy 5:20 says, as for those, and he's talking about elders, who persist in sin, rebuke them in the presence of all. So they have a public office and they get a public rebuke so that the rest may stand in fear. The other elders can hear and fear. In Galatians 6:1, generally, transgression is the point of transgression, discipline, is to restore him in a spirit of gentleness. So the motivations here with regards to these false teachers are, number one, protect the flock. So that's kind of unique when you have elder discipline, because you want to protect the teaching, protect the doctrine. And then secondly, restore the person if you can. And if you can't, then like this person, he gets church discipline where he dislocates himself from church fellowship. All right, so the points here today, I think, is number one, be ready to be under good leadership. Be ready to be under the protection of good leadership. Now, that doesn't mean perfect. That, these are human beings we're talking about. The second thing is to be ready to be believing and holding and teaching and training this good doctrine. Be ready to be under the right teaching, sound doctrine, healthy doctrine. And then the third thing is be ready to be adorning the gospel with our actions and our works. So similarly, he says, not only be ready, but be careful. I want you to think about this. I want you to worry about this just a little bit. Fix your eyes on this and be concerned about it, because there's a relationship between what we believe and what we do. Let's be careful out there. Thanks for listening.